Greetings. It is morning and I am waking up and it's going to be sunny today. So I'm going to attempt an experiment of frying the potatoes I grew in coconut oil using a solar oven. So that's today's experiment. So first let's go get the solar oven opened and warm it up. Here's where I sleep. This is my tarp underneath a apricot tree. There's my solar electric bike and a giant bucket of coconut butter, which I use to make the wizard's food or whatever I'm calling it these days, you know, the chocolate. Here's the sprout garden. Got some amaranth coming up. Planted some of those rattlesnake beans at this like tripod thing. So that was what Hyper Vegan recommended. Nice sparrow garden, nice flowers, got some sunchokes growing, sun's coming up. This is first thing in the morning. Got some nice choyas with some fruit growing, which you can eat. There's the compost bathroom. Come out this fence. Got these, what, tree of paradise or something like that. They grow like crazy. These things are going nuts. There's the old buckwheat garden. Here's a bunch of amaranth that's just coming up because it feels like it. And here's the solar oven. I'm going to turn it towards the sun. It's just a box. You just pull up on this. I need two hands for this. Coming up. There we go. Okay, so then it folds out. Just like gathering up the sun. Goes through this glass. The glass holds the heat in. Very important. It's got a little temperature gauge. This little thing swings. So basically, I'm just gonna shut this and let it start heating up while I get the other things ready. Okay, so now I need to take some of this coconut oil and put it into my titanium pot. And I will use my titanium spork to do so. Okay, so we're going for deep fryer style. So I mostly filled it up with coconut butter. It is going to go to probably half or below half once it all melts, just because there's so much space in between it all. And I think that, I'm just guessing here, seems like a pretty good amount. So now I'm going to take this lid, I'm going to put it on top. That's going to help hold the heat in. And just because this is, I only use this with my stove, all of this, I basically never really wash this with soap. I consider that to be kind of disgusting, actually. If you're worried about bugs, you know, this thing is basically getting sterilized on a daily basis, whether it's in the oven or being, you know, cooked on a fire right here. Okay, there it is, sitting in the oven. I close the glass and leave it for a few hours. So the next thing we'll do for this is basically look at the potatoes, cut them up, and then add them to the hot oil. But I've got a couple hours, right? So I'm just gonna actually do something very similar to what the oven is doing. I'm going to take off all of my clothes and stand and do qigong in the sun with bare feet on the ground. And I'm gonna lay out my wool clothes, which are the clothes which are touching my body, in the sun so that they get basically, I see it as washing them, right? So because it's wool, it's antimicrobial, and adding the sun basically takes care of everything, even underwear. So that's what I'm going to be up to. That doesn't really need to be in this video, so we'll check in when it's time for potatoes. Okay, we got some potatoes that I grew, and just gonna chop them up with my survival knife here on this old table we have outside. Here's my water heating up in the portable solar oven. I can put that in my backpack, and basically I can add the wizard's chocolate to that, and it melts, and basically like hot chocolate that I can live off of. Okay, there's my pile of chopped potatoes. Thinking just, you know, like fried potato size. I don't think they're going to cook quite like French fries because it doesn't get that hot in the solar oven. So it's just going to be really good potatoes with a lot of fat absorbed into them. That's my goal here. Okay, it looks like it's about 250 degrees in there. Means the oil's probably kind of close to that mark. I'm going to pull the lid off. You can see it's definitely melted. And close it back up. I'm just going to use this for the transporting potatoes. Alright, here's one load. So I don't know how much I'll be able to add, so I'll just add half of it at this point. Okay, hopefully avoid the splash here. Okay, I think we can definitely add the rest of it. Yeah, seems about perfect. Uh-oh, one fell down. I'll have to get that. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid back on, and I'm just gonna leave it there for, I don't know, I'll probably just check in every once in a while, but I think it's probably gonna be a couple of hours, honestly. So an important note, make sure that you wash your knife and then you apply oil to it after you've used it. This will keep it from rusting, and this is a very, very valuable tool for many different reasons. Okay, it's a few hours later. You can see it's hot enough to be boiling. I think I'll pull one out and give it a taste. Come here, buddy. Okay, I let it cool down and I put a little bit of salt on it, and now I'm going to try it. Yep, it's basically totally done. So I think I'll pull that off and start eating it. Okay, so I pulled half of them out and left half of them in there, and I'm going to put them back in the oven and just see what happens when I cook them for a few more hours. Now I'm going to sprinkle some delicious herbed sea salt. This stuff is really good. I actually like the cayenne stuff better, but I ran out, so I'll just use this stuff. You know me, I'm going to put lots. Yeah. So my review is that they are very delicious, but they are very mushy, and so they lacked the crispiness that is really nice about deep fried potatoes. I think the heat just can't really get up that high, but we'll see what happens when I leave them out there for a couple more hours. So here's the second batch, a couple hours later. Basically looks the same, probably just a little bit mushier, so it doesn't get hot enough to get crispy, but it definitely cooks it. So I'm thinking that, you know, the nice thing about this is you can just keep the coconut oil and keep using it. Slowly you'll have to add to it because it is getting absorbed into the potatoes and then you're eating it. So, you know, a good way to get a lot of calories, which is a big goal of mine. But I can basically save this oil and keep using it day after day. So that's one cool thing. And then also, this is one potential way that I'll be able to cook the Jerusalem artichokes. So we'll try that out when we get closer to winter. So anyways, that's the deep fry, slow deep fry. I don't know what you'd call this, but anyways, that's deep frying the homegrown potatoes. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.